Today's guest is Annie Sydor. She is a small business owner helping other solopreneurs find their target audience, consumer insights, and other industry trends through market research so that business decision making can be easy for them. She is also a heart transplant recipient who was diagnosed with a heart failure at 25 years old, and she tells her life-changing experience that led her down a different path. Give a warm welcome to ever-blessed Annie Sydor.
Essentially what I do is I really help my clients are mainly coaches, consultants, and course creators. And they come to me a lot and they want to put out an offer into the world, right? But what I do is I take everything they want to do and I test it out with different types of target audiences and basically gather quantitative, which is like numerical data, and then qualitative, which is more like psychological data. And then I bring it all together and create like a large report that breaks all of their questions down and really allows them to make a business decision. You know, what I was thinking when you were just talking about women and adversity is that, like, you know, through the transplant process and losing my health, you know, I really was on my own, right? So I can relate to not having the support systems, but I always come back to the woman is the giver of life, you know, and we're always going to have to show up. Like we give life, we cook the food, we make the home, like we make everything comfortable. And I think that's just like always in us and like continually like surging through us, regardless of like what happens and who's there and who's not there. It's just like in the woman to naturally like continue to go. You keep pushing, you keep pursuing what it is that you need to find or to discover. Like it's just like embedded in the woman, I feel like.
I always thought, like, if I ever had the opportunity, if I had passed on in wanting to know that I've done something for someone based on my organs that were gifted to that recipient, you know, some of the questions I would ask them specifically, like, you know, if you could ask your heart donor 3 particular questions, what would they be?
Yeah, well, first I would just say thank you and I love you. I'm a hugger, so I'd give him the biggest hug he's ever felt, probably besides one that his own parents could give him. But I guess the first thing I would ask him is, are there any messages you'd like me to deliver for you? The second question I'd ask is, if there is one thing I can carry out for you in this life, what would it be? And finally, I would just ask, what is your favorite thing about heaven? You know, give us all something to look forward to.
That is beautiful. Yeah. I wanted to have this moment to thank each and every guest that was on this podcast, as well as the avid listeners that followed me throughout this journey. And if you want to show your love, please go to Apple or Spotify and do a rating, and continue to listen to my podcast on any of the platforms. I do have a new podcast starting April 21st. Called Hands Off My Podcast, and currently distributing on all podcast platforms. And stay tuned for the next upcoming episode of Noise Palooza Zion on Fridays.